Tonight, the Prime Minister takes his cabinet to Gladstone.
A rise in wait times to see specialists in Rockhampton.
The mask mandate dropped for airport terminals.
And how to spot the signs of elder abuse.
This is 7 News with Rob Brough and Danielle De Pinto.
Good evening. Thanks very much for joining us.
Good evening.
The Port City hosted Labor's first regional cabinet meeting since winning the federal election. Minimum wage workers were at the top of the agenda, with the Prime Minister welcoming a pay increase for struggling residents.
Touring the heart of energy manufacturing in regional Queensland. Today, the Prime Minister got a glimpse of daily operations at Rio Tinto's Yarwun alumina refinery.
What you are seeing there is a massive investment of billions of dollars to come to make sure that Australia continues to be a country that makes things.
Anthony Albanese travelled to the Port City this morning for his first regional cabinet meeting since winning the election. He welcomed a new decision from the Fair Work Commission to increase pay for minimum wage workers by 5.2%.
That lifts the minimum wage up by just $1.05 an hour, or $40 a week.
The era of wages being kept deliberately low by the Liberal and National parties effectively came to an end today.
It's hoped the decision will help millions of Aussies manage cost of living pressures.
It makes a difference to people who are struggling with the cost of living, and it justifies our position that we took in making a different submission to the Fair Work Commission.
Meanwhile, the Energy Minister says power shortage problems should ease in the coming days and blackouts will be unlikely.
AEMO directed more than 5,000 megawatts into the market. Using their powers, they directed generators to bid into the market.
Lizzie Abood, 7 News.
New data shows the time waiting to see a specialist has risen, with Rockhampton Hospital among the worst in the state. The LNP has sounded the alarm, fearing patients are being left with a reduced quality of life as a result.
It's known as the wait list to get on the wait list. New health data shows the time it takes to see a specialist at Rockhampton's hospital has blown out. Nearly 9,500 patients are waiting to see a specialist.
Hospital crisis in Central Queensland is real. It's having an impact on people's lives. And we've seen it in ambulance ramping, we've seen it at emergencies, and now we're seeing it with the waiting list.
The state opposition says it's hearing countless stories about the impact it's having on the community.
And it's not your imagination that your auntie has been waiting 2 long years for a knee replacement. It is a reality.
Every day living in agony, can't go to work, can't visit the grandkids, can't live their life. Their livability is so impacted. That's what this waiting list means to people.
And it's not just patients local to the Rockhampton area affected.
They impact people at Biloela, Mowra and the rest of Central Queensland. This isn't good enough.
The Central Queensland Health Service CEO Dr Emma McCann says COVID had a big impact on specialist outpatient clinics in the March quarter, with hospital staff and patients affected due to quarantining and close contact isolations. And if a patient is concerned their condition has deteriorated, they should talk to their family GP or present to the emergency department. Ebony Ablett, 7 News.
The Biloela Tamil family met the PM during his visit today and thanked him for helping to get them home to Central Queensland. Anthony Albanese says permanent residency for the family is still in the hands of the Immigration Minister.
I've said before that I see no impediment to the family being settled permanently here in Australia, but that will be a decision for the Minister.
To celebrate their return home, the family will attend a private screening tonight of a new film called A Coney, which captures the struggles of refugees travelling to Australia.
Travellers will soon be able to unmask at airports across the state, with the Federal Health Minister recommending the mandate be lifted. The Queensland Government backed the move today. Sarah Court has more.
Danielle, State Health Minister Yvette D'Arth announced earlier this afternoon that staff, travellers and visitors will be able to take their masks off at airports across the state from this weekend. The Australian Health Protection Principle Committee, which is made up of all the nation's state and territory chief health officers, made the recommendation late Tuesday, claiming it was no longer proportionate to mandate mask use in airport terminals. They advised the states to ditch the mandate from as early as midnight on Friday. That move was today endorsed by the State Health Minister Yvette D'Arth, who said in a statement that the Queensland Government would lift the mandate in accordance with the AHPPC. But masks will still be mandatory on all commercial flights. Health officials say they're an important tool in protection from both COVID and the flu. Rob?
Thank you, Sarah. Our ambulances were kept busy last night with 2 separate crashes on our roads. A woman was taken to the Rockhampton Hospital in a stable condition with minor injuries after her vehicle collided with a deer on Lakes Creek Road around 6:30. Paramedics also responded to a 2-vehicle crash on Canning and Denham Streets at Allenstown around 10:30. A female in her late teens was taken to hospital with back pain and a suspected leg injury.
1 in 6 older Australians is under threat, often behind closed doors and at the hands of trusted family members. World Elder Abuse Day reveals shocking statistics about the unacceptable treatment of seniors in the grip of financial control, abuse or physical isolation.
Aged care workers are rallying together to help elderly people who are trapped in a web of control, often held captive by their own children.
They ban them from using the kitchen, or they, put things, lock them in their room.
World Elder Abuse Day highlights the harsh reality for around 15% of seniors.
Elder abuse can include financial, physical, emotional and or neglect.
Relationships Australia says the abuse that's reported is just the tip of the iceberg. Many victims don't know or don't want to believe it could happen.
People don't believe that they're experiencing abuse. And if they are, they often find it very difficult to talk about because it's often a trusted relationship, a family member, a neighbour, an associate, a friend.
Locals are urged to not turn a blind eye to uncommon behaviour and look for signs of ill treatment.
Just being aware that if they're looking anxious or fearful or unable to meet your eyes or start to say something and then stop.
If you or a loved one are experiencing mistreatment, you can reach out to Relationships Australia on 1300 364 277 for help. Sarah Benalik, 7 News.
The State Mining Group has launched a public campaign rallying against a proposed rise in royalty taxes. The Queensland Resources Council and mining companies, including BHP, Anglo American and Bravus, have signed a letter to the Premier. It says a rise in taxes would put more pressure on electricity prices and household expenses.
Regional Queensland kids living with a disability learnt from the best today, taking to the court alongside professional netballers. It's part of a program inspiring kids to try new sports and potentially find their passion.
Today, the aim of the game was having a go. Cricket, NRL, athletics and netball, Queensland kids with a disability tried their luck and knocked it out of the park. It's part of the Variety Activate Inclusion Sports Day.
It's about increasing participation rates for children living with a disability, physical, sensory or intellectual disabilities.
Today's stop was the Sunshine Coast. The program has been run in Rockhampton and Toowoomba and will also head to Townsville, Bundaberg, Cairns and Mackay.
Bouncing the ball. I like it to kick and tackle. The running around and stuff.
Because it's a way to try doing stuff new when I've never played sport before.
Cheered on by Lightning players, Libby was really having a ball as she celebrated her 18th birthday.
Pretty cool.
We've seen some awesome shooting this morning, some awesome passing, some very cool ball tricks.
It's hoped the day will inspire students to join a team.
And enjoy the mental, social, physical benefits that playing sport bring.
And who knows, maybe make it to the 2032 Paralympics.
These kids will be, 10 years older and definitely hope to see a few of them there representing our country.
Mel Whiteman, 7 News.
Yeah, happy birthday, Libby. That was cool. We'll take a break in a moment. A campaign urging men to tackle mental health during an awareness week.
And the shift to small-scale backyard farming to ease soaring veg prices. Welcome back to 7 News. A new study has found 1 in 5 Queensland men still don't talk about their mental health. It's a figure services like Lifeline are hoping to change this Men's Health Week to curb tragic cases of male suicide.
When he returned to his family after 13 years in the Defence Force, Brodie Bush found a new struggle at home.
Misusing alcohol and things of that nature. I found reaching out and, being accepting of what was going on with myself was the first step.
He's not alone. New research from Classics for a Cause has found 64% of Aussie blokes aren't open about their mental health, and 1 in 5 don't speak about it at all.
There's a lot of social stigma behind showing your feelings or expressing yourself in certain ways, and talking about mental health has, been considered taboo.
This Men's Health Week, organisations like Lifeline are calling on anyone going through a tough time to start up a conversation and not feel embarrassed about speaking up.
Unfortunately, men are by far and away more likely to commit suicide than women. So we know, as a fact, 75% of all suicides are male.
Those figures have remained steady over recent years, and that's one of the reasons CEO Grant Simpson says more research is essential.
You need to understand the factors of why men are a bit reluctant to engage with certain programs. So we need some more research along those lines, but it's really important that men do know that we have great resources.
Sammy Barnes, 7 News.
And if you or anyone you know needs support, help is available. You can call Lifeline on 13 11 14.
Residents in the Rockhampton Regional and Livingston Shire Council areas are being reminded to check their letterboxes. Mail from the Queensland Electoral Commission is beginning to arrive ahead of the postal vote on the future of the northern suburbs boundary.
We've just had the federal election, so we don't want people being confused that it's just further junk mail that's coming through. This is an important mail out, and one that we're making sure that everyone's aware of.
The postal survey closes on July 14.
Locals are trying to take back some control as the cost of everyday essentials like fruit and vegetables climb. Veggie gardens are sprouting up across the region as a way to help ease the strain on budgets.
Tending to the veggie garden is part of the daily routine for Christine and Michael Thompson. They moved into their home about a year ago, and getting their patch up to scratch was a priority.
We mainly grow beetroot, onion, things that we can eat ourselves, like salads.
It's something they've been doing for years, initially to lower grocery costs when their children were younger.
When we had children at home, they were always hungry. And so we grew strawberries, tomatoes, things like that, and they'd come home and they'd just raid the garden.
Local nurseries have reported an increase in people buying established fruit trees along with seedlings in an attempt to grow their own.
So a lot of people are going from having native gardens and that to having edible gardens now in a small space.
It comes as the price of produce skyrockets, and even the police are getting in on the gardening action, ordering their own investigation into prices. The tips from experts to grow what suits your climate and your taste buds.
You might pay $5 for a punnet of lettuce seedlings or tomato seedlings. That's a long-term investment for your own self as well.
Ebony Ablett, 7 News.
My veggie gardens haven't been very successful in the past, but, it's worth giving it a try.
Absolutely. Why not in this day and age?
Absolutely. Save a few bob here and there, eh?
Yeah.
Now the Rocky Cup this weekend,
It is, Bruffy. Some of the best table tennis players, they're coming from all over the state, with a Paralympic silver medalist in attendance. More on that next. And on a day of expansion in Women's Rugby League, a 19-year-old Capra signs her first NRLW contract. And welcome back to 7 News. Emma Packey's standout season with the CQ Capras has now been rewarded with her first NRLW contract. Packey will follow in the footsteps of fellow Capra Tamika Upton and suit up for the Newcastle Knights in the new season that will begin in a couple of months.
It's been a big year for Emma Packey. She helped take the CQ Capras to their first grand final win in the BMD Women's Premiership, and now she's coming to terms with the news of her first NRLW contract.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Didn't expect to move to New South Wales, but I'm really glad that I got the opportunity to play there.
Packy will have a very familiar face joining her at the Newcastle Knights in fellow Capra and current NRLW star Tamika Upton.
I found out through Tamika actually. She gave me a call and asked if I was interested, and I said, yeah, I am, and then the next phone call was the coach.
Upton has played a mentor-type role this season for the 19-year-old, something Packy will look to build on.
I've always had Tamika around, so it's going to be really well. We're both CQ girls, so it's really good we stick together.
For a CQ Capra's coach, Amanda Oll, the news of Packy's signing lessened the pain of their heartbreaking grand final loss to the Gold Stars.
What a wonderful, wonderful little gift after a grand final to have Emma sign on with an NRLW side.
Not only is Packy a star of the future on the field, she is the heart and soul of any team she plays in.
It's infectious. She does make you smile along with her. But yeah, she's an incredible talent.
And Packy and Upton's Knights will next year be playing in an extended 10-team NRLW competition, following today's big announcement that 4 new teams have been granted a 2023 licence. They are Canberra, Cronulla, North Queensland and the West Tigers. Brad Villiers, 7 News.
Meanwhile, the CQ Capra's men will go into this weekend's game against the Redcliffe Dolphins brimming with confidence after back-to-back wins in the Q Cup. Coach Lionel Harbin has named an unchanged lineup for the clash at Moreton Daly Stadium, a ground that hasn't been a happy hunting ground for the Capras in the past.
We lost right on the buzzer last year, but it's a new year, we're a new team, and we're looking forward to the challenge this weekend.
Curtis Farr retains his spot in the centres in the lineup that once again sees the 2 power forwards Zev John and Mackenzie Yeh coming off the bench. Rockhampton will play host to some of the best table tennis players from across the state at this weekend's Rocky Cup. Paralympic silver medalist Joel Coughlin will be in attendance as the paddlers compete for some much sought-after national rating points.
The tables are set and the paddles are ready as some of the best table tennis players converge in the beef capital this weekend for the Rocky Open.
It's our annual event, so it's a pretty busy tournament calendar this year, and we've got people coming from fair portion of the state to take part.
It's one of the largest tournaments on the national circuit with players coming from far and wide.
They'll come in from Mackay, Bundaberg, Brisbane, one bloke from Goondiwindi, and good entries from Bundaberg.
With divisions to cover all age groups, there'll be plenty of talent on show.
From under 11 through to over 60 in the veterans and the juniors events. There's a lot of different age groups in there.
National rating points will be up for grabs, so the competition is set to be fierce.
The cream rises to the top, of course, and the good players have the better rating, and some of the players who will be playing here this weekend will be going to the National Championships in 2 weeks' time on the Sunshine Coast.
Local Paralympian and silver medalist Joel Coughlin will be on show over the weekend.
He did really, really well. He picked up that silver medal, and he'll be second favourite at the Men's Open Singles this weekend.
Action begins on Saturday at the Leichhardt Park Playing Centre in Campbell Street. Brad Villiers, 7 News.
How strong is the field when Joel's the second favourite in the Open Men's and he's a Paralympic silver medalist? Should be good, guys.
Very good, yeah. Thank you, Nath.
We'll stay with us after the break. Livio has all the weather details.
G'day, Livio Regano with tonight's weather. Well, the weather pattern that put half of Australia into a week-long deep freeze has now passed, and Queensland's enjoying a well-earned stretch of balmier weather. The ocean trade winds do, of course, bring more cloud than those lip-cracking southerlies, but any showers this week should be very isolated. Last night got down to 15 degrees in Rockhampton, which is so much more pleasant than 7 the night before. Today's top of 25 was also very agreeable, and most other stations followed the same trend. Let's look at the satellite loop now. You can see the trade wind pattern is back simply because we're getting to see the patchy cloud now in the Coral Sea. That's where the wind is coming from, having come from land for so many days before it finally started to turn around. So there is a bit of coastal cloud. Showers have been few and far between, amounting to less than a few millimetres in most cases, and generally most places had a day of fine weather. On today's chart, we have two high-pressure systems now, both of them quite weak. One's way out to the Tasman Sea and another new one is moving over Central Australia. This zone between them is a zone of very light winds, which has made for a very pleasant day, though a little bit of cloud, slightly more of a southeasterly trade once we move north because the isobars are just that bit closer together. On tomorrow's chart, we're going to wake up to quite a bit of fog in the early morning simply because the isobar pattern is so open and the winds will be light. A very pleasant day, though, statewide, not that much cloud. On the outlook chart, now we start to see a light southerly change come through as this next high moves over, and by Friday and Saturday that'll bring the temperatures down a little bit. Now the boating forecast for Capricornia waters, southeast winds 10 to 15 knots only tomorrow, but increasing to 15 to 20 knots on Friday, 15 to 20 again on Saturday from the south-southeast. Tomorrow's the last day of really big tides before the moon starts waning and swing starts narrowing. It's the night tide we're most concerned about, the daytime one's just a baby. Capricornia district forecast, a mostly sunny day after some early fog in the southwest. Gladstone reaching 25 degrees, 26 for Rocky, Billow 25, Yeppoon 23. Central Highlands and Coalfields, again some fog, but then a mostly sunny day. Emerald hitting 25 degrees, 24 for Claremont, and Moranbah again 25. Looking ahead for Rockhampton, temperatures peaking tomorrow or Friday, then falling a degree or two over the weekend following a weak southerly change. Cloudy at times, but no rain at this stage. Now it's back to the team.
And of course, if you'd like to watch anything again, catch up on our 7plus app or our page, 7news.com.au. See you tomorrow night. Good night.
Good night.